Okay. So, hi Pooja. I would not like to start with a very cliche interview style by asking you, your introduction, but I would like to ask. You have scored rank one, AIR one in intermediate. So, what you did differently than other candidates, that you secured a rank? What was, how differently you prepared from them? What was your strategy?
Okay. Okay. So first of all, I took individual coaching for individual subjects from different faculties which are popular all over India, and there were various challenges which I had to face at that point in time because it was a lockdown phase. So like I was since I was pursuing my graduation from Delhi, so just pre-lockdown I came back home, and then lockdown was announced all of a sudden. So I actually did not have my laptop with me. I did not have my books, my notes, anything, and that went on for like. I mean, I had to give actually, I just got my books. I received my books just 1 month before my exams. So that was a challenge for me. But I was fortunate enough. I had a few good friends who shared the notes with me, but I also did not have my laptop, so I was actually I asked my neighbor for it, and this actually led me to preparing multiple notes. Like no, I prepared notes 3 or 4 times,
Hmm.
which people
Oh,
just
that's
make
about the
make it once.
preparation part. What strategy did you follow? Like, what makes rankers different from other candidates who are finding it difficult to crack?
So I watched revision videos on YouTube multiple times. I had a good grasp over concepts, so
Hmm.
I feel that helped me. And yes, sir, that's about it. But preparing notes multiple times, preparing my handwritten notes multiple times, I think that's what actually helped me to secure a rank, and multiple revisions.
Okay. So since you have a great
And
credential,
also,
yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
also, sir, conceptual clarity is a must. I mean, you
Hmm.
cannot expect to secure top 10 ranks if you don't have a conceptual clarity.
Hmm. Okay, great. Uh, so I can see that you've done decently well during articleship from KG Goel and Company. So assume that we are analyzing any P&L statement and balance sheet, and we find out that the ROU assets are increasing, the lease liability is increasing, but our finance cost is going down. What could be the possible reasons for the same?
Finance cost is going down.
Yeah, and ROU asset is increasing, lease liability is increasing. We can see that in the balance sheet from previous year when we are comparing, ROU asset has gone up, lease liability figure has also gone up. But in P&L, if you're comparing it from last year, the finance cost has gone down. What could be the possible reasons?
Not very sure, sir. I'm
Not
not
very
able
sure.
to think right
Okay. So why do you wish to pursue opportunity with BEL?
now. With BEL.
Right.
So because I think that I mean, my career goals matches with the vision and mission of the company. And also speaking generally, I believe that I possess effective communication skills, which helps me to form personal connections well, which helps me to express my thoughts and opinion in my personal relationships and my professional environment also. And I have an analytical and calculative mind. I'm a compassionate person, so that also works in my favor. It helps me to gel well with people wherever I go,
No, no,
wherever.
I'm asking. No, I'm not asking why should we take you. I'm asking why do you want to join BEL? What's any? Is there any specific reasons or a series of reasons that you wish to join BEL as a company?
Okay, so basically I'm inclined towards PSU, so that is my first like that is my decision making factor to join BEL. And I also feel that I mean my career goals matches with the mission of the company, so that's why.
Okay, fine. So let's say if we ask you to relocate to some remote location, Will that be okay with you?
Yes, sir. I'm very much okay with relocating anywhere.
So have you ever been to any project, outside your city, Ajmer or Jaipur? Have you ever been outside your
No,
hometown
sir.
for a project?
No, sir. Not for a project.
Not for a
I mean,
project.
since I'm from Ajmer, I had to go to Jaipur,
Hmm.
but not outside Rajasthan.
Not outside Rajasthan. Okay. As I can see in your CV, you mentioned GSTR 1, 3, and 16 to proviso. Assume that we have taken some service from a vendor or bought some goods from a vendor in December 23, right? And GST is applicable on that particular goods or services. We are the service, we are availing the service, we are the buyers. Now we did not pay the other party for next 1 year. That means till 1st of December, we haven't paid the other party. But suddenly on assessment of the books and creditors, we got to know that there is one creditor who has not uh, who has not been paid till now, and we made that payment on 10th of December. So the 10th of December 2024, right? So we bought the goods on 20, December 1st December 23. On 1st of December 2024, we assessed that we haven't paid to the other person. On 10th of December 2024, we made the payment. Can we avail credit for the same?
So we need to make payment as per the proviso to section 16.2. We need to make payment to the vendor within 180 days from the date of invoice. So if that condition is not fulfilled, so we cannot avail credit. Or if we've taken, actually, if we've availed credit, then we need to reverse it by adding it to the output tax liability when 180 days period expires. So in the output tax liability of the month in which those 180 days period expires.
Hmm. No, but we actually did not avail credit that time. We decided to avail credit in December only.
In December 24.
Yes.
No, sir. If until and unless we make the payment.
Okay. What clause bars us, in availing this credit? What law or what particular clause bars us?
Sir, under GST law, there is there's basically section 16, which I mean, which basically talks about conditions for availing ITC. Under which there are conditions that a supplier who wants to take ITC needs to be registered under GST law, needs to possess GST tax invoice or other tax paying documents. And so there's a proviso to section 16.2, which states that payment needs to be made within 180 days from the date of invoice to avail ITC. And in case if we have availed ITC, then we need to reverse it.
Okay, fine. Assume there is we are running a company and it is in its preliminary stage, primitive stages. We are not earning any revenue in the company, nor do we have any sort of expenses that we are booking in the books. We just have few assets with us, probably machines, tangible assets. We are charging depreciation on the same. Let's say if we appoint you as an auditor or as an accountant in that organization, how would P&L and balance sheet would look like in this case? The case is that we only have assets, tangible assets, no revenues, no expenses, only depreciation.
Only depreciation. So then also in that case also we need to prepare SPL, statement of profit and loss, to show
Hmm.
depreciation. And
Hmm.
since you are saying that we have assets, so we need to prepare balance sheet also as per schedule 3 division 2 and
Right.
division 2 part 1. And then we will deduct depreciation from the gross carrying amount of the assets.
Okay. What about the liability side?
So if you have taken, I mean, if you have purchased plant and machinery on credit from the vendor,
Hmm.
then vendor will be shown on
No,
liability side as well.
no, it's not on any credit terms. We bought it by paying upfront.
Upfront amount, cash. Okay,
Yes.
so cash, like our bank balance will go down, and
Hmm.
we will show asset
No, no,
balance.
we actually bought this asset a year back. Now it is ready to use. We're preparing P&L statement. We only have one line item in P&L, which is depreciation. So how will you make P&L in this case? I want you to answer that. And how will you disclose this particular transaction in balance sheet? So you
So
said depreciation would be charged, and what?
we'll go depreciation and amortization
So that is
under
charged. Okay, fine.
expenses side. Yes,
Right.
and we will show asset on the asset side of the
Now
balance sheet under
depreciation is
non-current assets.
shown depreciation is shown in the P&L statement in the debit side. What will happen to the
Yes,
credit side then? Because we need to balance P&L and balance sheets, right? There will be some transaction. We have to close the books. So how will you close the books in this?
not sure, sir.
Do you have pen, copy, everything like paper with you? Anything with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next time when I ask a question, do write it down in case if you need to calculate something or to draw something. Fine. So where do you see yourself 5 years down the line?
Uh, Sir, I see a long-term association with BEL, and I see 5 years down the line, I see myself somewhere in mid-managerial position,
Hmm.
um, working with a team or even leading a team of efficient and enthusiastic people, bridging the communication gap between top management and lower-level employees.
Okay. And personally speaking, what are your personal aspirations and goals?
Sir, I see myself in a job only. I'm not looking to start a practice anytime soon. So
Hmm.
I'll be I'll be continuing with my job only, and I want to continue with one organization only for as long as
Hmm.
I can imagine.
Okay, great. So are you aware of the concept of component accounting as you mentioned in day 16? So are you aware of that concept of component accounting?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you
Yes,
explain
sir.
when do we carry out component accounting?
If there are various components or various spare parts of
Hmm.
a plant, like property, plant, and equipment, which have significant cost, so we record those components separately. And let's say if that component needs to be replaced in 5 years, let's say that
Hmm.
one component which carries significant cost, so we will record that component separately from from the property, plant, and equipment. Some of the components can be combined also, they can be clubbed also if there is same depreciation method and same depreciation rate. Otherwise, if you're recording components separately, and after, let's say, after 5 years it needs to be replaced, so we will de-recognize the carrying amount of that component, and we will record the purchase price, record the cost of the new component that is being purchased, and we will add it to the cost of pp. So new
Okay,
component will be recognized as a cost of PP, and the carrying amount of old component will be de-recognized.
okay, fine. So what are the two exceptions available, under Ind AS 116 while accounting for lease? Uh, and we are assume that we are accounting for lease from lessee's standpoint. What are two exceptions available there?
So there's short-term lease less than
Hmm.
12 months. So if the lease period is less than 12 months, then
Hmm.
lessee has an exception that he or she can choose to not actually apply Ind AS 116 to that particular asset.
Hmm.
And also there is low value asset.
Hmm.
So if depending on the policy of the company, if the company feels that considering the turnover of company, if the asset is of low value, then also lessee can choose to not account it as per Ind AS 116.
Okay. Assume
So
that you're taking up. Yeah, please go ahead.
yes, so I was saying, so there are basically two exceptions: short-term lease of less than 12 months and low value asset.
Okay, understood. Assume that you're taking any building on lease, and there is a common space. The expenditure of whom is attributable to all the units. Let's say you're taking a flat or maybe an office or maybe a shop on rent on lease, and there's a common space for which there is an electricity charge because in common space also we have tube lights and lights being operative, and there is housekeeping charge that is being charged by the landlord to all the shopkeepers or flat owners for common space. Will you consider this amount while computing lease liability? Will this be added?
This all of this is provided by the supplier, by the vendor only.
Yes.
Uh, yes, sir. It will be added in lease liability.
Why so? This is not even a part of lease liability. I mean, it has nothing to do with the asset that we are buying or we are taking on lease.
So we are buying. Basically, we are buying an asset, and
Hmm.
there's a
We
common.
assume
Could you
that
please
we are
repeat the
taking a
question?
shop. We are taking a shop on lease.
Hmm.
It's a complex. It's a commercial complex or a mall. And in the mall, you have seen, a lot of security guards or electricity expenditure being incurred on electrifying the common area, the lobbies, escalator. There's an escalator also which is being operated in that particular mall. So there's a usage charge. There's a housekeeping charge. There are sweepers who are sweeping the floor or maybe the common washrooms. Will we include all these amounts? Will the attribute the, so this will be attributed to different shop holders, shop owners or lessees in some proportion. So should we consider this amount, the appropriated amount in our lease liability?
So I think it will be a part of composite supply, so it should be added. And since it's provided by the same vendor, so yes, I think it should be added in lease liability.
Okay, fine. So are you aware of recent changes in Schedule 3, I mean, disclosure norms?
Sir, I know about debtors like accounts receivable, in which we show like the classification has been changed. Now we need to show undisputed debtors, which are considered good, and undisputed, like it's divided between undisputed and disputed debtors.
Hmm.
And same with I mean, yes, so undisputed and disputed debtors, and then there are classification on the basis of time period, like debtors who are outstanding for up to 6 months, and then 6 months to 1 year, 1 year to 2 years, 2 years to 3 years, and then beyond, if the credit period is beyond 3 years. And it's also classified between like undisputed creditors who are considered good and who are considered doubtful, and then disputed creditors who are considered good and considered doubtful.
What
And
else?
also like, I'm not sure if this is an amendment, but earlier we did not have financial asset and financial liability concept in balance sheet. Now we
Hmm.
have financial asset and financial liability. So if there is any instrument, or there's basically a document which gives us right to receive cash in future or another financial asset in future, that is shown under financial asset. So trade receivables are actually shown under financial asset because we have a right to receive cash from them. On the contrary, if we have an obligation to pay cash, then that will be recorded in financial liability. And now deferred tax assets and deferred tax liabilities can be like they can be set off because they are formed under same law, which is Companies Act 2013. And actually Ind AS 1 allows us to show the net amount of deferred tax asset and deferred tax liability. So if deferred tax amount is more than deferred tax liability, then we will show only deferred tax asset under the asset side of balance sheet. And
Okay.
also now assets are shown before liabilities. Earlier we used to show equity and liabilities before assets. Now we show assets, and then under assets and liabilities also we show non-current assets first and then current assets.
Any other amendment that you can recall?
So I've not gone through that.
Okay,
After the
fine.
interview, I'll certainly go back and check.
Sure. Okay, assume that you know, we operate in a segment which deals with uh, nuclear energy, and we have certain goods or not goods exactly, but inventory available in a godown, which has nuclear capabilities. So hence we have to get the scientific testing done or a preventive testing done every month for that particular inventory. Will you include that preventive checkup charges or fees that you're paying to the consultant or the expert for getting the preventive checkup done while valuing inventories?
It's being carried out every month or every quarter.
It's being yes, yes, it is being carried out quite frequently, periodically.
Okay. But sir, I feel that it's required to put inventory to its intended use. I mean, if consider the nature of inventory, if it's essential, then I feel it should be added to the cost. But
Hmm.
however, if it is being carried out every now and then we can also take it to SPL. But I feel because it is important to bring inventory to its present location and condition, so I think it should be added to the carrying cost of inventory.
Okay. So are you aware of provisions pertaining to e-invoicing? What is the threshold and when do we need to do e-invoicing?
Okay, so basically, e-invoicing is digital invoicing of goods and services. So every supplier whose aggregate annual turnover exceeds the threshold of 10 CR, then
Hmm.
that supplier needs to upload digital invoicing. And invoice is basically uploaded on GST portal, and it is also validated using invoice reference number and QR code, which is like auto populated, auto generated by GST and portal. So if your aggregate turnover exceeds 10 CR mark, they are also planning to reduce it to 5 CR to bring more invoices within the purview of basically within the purview of e-invoicing. So that will help government to actually keep a track of all the invoices. So basically, it can be like digital invoice will be uploaded by the supplier on GSTN portal. It will be validated by GSTN portal using invoice reference number and QR code.
So is it applicable for a B2C transaction as well?
So it's applicable for B2B transactions.
And let's say our buyers are based out of India, and it is a B2C transaction. Then also, do we need to generate a e-invoice?
I'm not sure, so.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So it seems you have been a fitness enthusiast as well. That you participated in a lot of marathons. Okay. Oh, you have been a part of hockey team at school. Okay. So just give me
For a
account of.
very short period of time, sir. Actually, from
Okay.
like my sixth standard to my eighth or ninth standard,
Hmm.
uh, because I had 10th board, so I actually left before districts.
Okay. So, if you're aware of this particular thing, who leads the women's hockey team currently? Who is the captain of the present women's hockey team?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. Okay. You have also mentioned that you've done some Excel course, right? So, uh, so are you hands-on this particular application Excel? How would you like to rate
Yes.
yourself on Excel? How much will you rate yourself on Excel?
So I would rate myself 6 on the scale of 10.
6. Don't you think it's a very harsh scaling and um, so what all functions do you know and you can use? Let's say if we ask you to operate on Excel.
Sir, I know we lookup function, H lookup. I know
Hmm.
if, sum if, count if, pivot
Hmm.
tables,
Hmm.
and like data validation tools.
Hmm.
Yes.
So if we give you an assignment, will you be able to do it now?
And also conditional formatting.
Yeah. Okay. Just hold on. Just hold on. So Pooja, I'm sharing my screen with you, and there's a case that I'm explaining. Just apply VLOOKUP. I'm giving you remote access. You will be able to do it on your system.
Okay, sir.
So see, this is the okay. Are you able? Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Is the screen visible to you? Okay. So this is data available. The cards available in a go down. We have car models. We have the number of cards available in the go down and price per unit of a particular model. So we have car model A, which is available in 50 number, and the price per unit is 5 lakh rupees, right? Assume you are the auditor or you're working in the financial reporting team, and you come across the sales report which says all these cars have been sold. We do not have any number in our go down, and now you are asking for what is the quantity. Now the sales team is saying, okay, we are sharing the warehousing team's report with you, which is this. This is the warehousing team's report. You can assume that all the cars of this particular model has been sold. How will you fetch this detail here? I am allowing you remote access. Uh, just tell me how will you solve this particular query using VLOOKUP probably. I hope you must have understood by now.
So I need to generate quantity of model A only.
All the cars have been sold. All the cars which were there in okay, I'm sharing it again. Okay. All these cars have been sold in the current period. Now we're asking for what is the quantity of these cars. How many cars have been sold pertaining to this particular model, this model, this model. They're saying we do not have that data. We are sales team. You can fetch details from the warehousing team's data, which is this. Now, how will you do it? How will you fetch data in this particular report? You need to find the quantity, price, and revenue earned by the entity in this particular period, right? I hope you must have understood by now.
Yes, sir.
I'm sharing the screen with you. Hold on. I'm giving you remote access. Okay, now you have that access on my screen. Just do it for me. No, not here, not here. This is the heading
Not,
file. You can delete it and press Control Z.
it's not working, sir.
It is visible to me. Now press Control Z. Control Z, Control and Z.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, forget the heading. Just apply VLOOKUP.
Where's that sheet? I'm not
This
able to see
V
the.
VLOOKUP case. This one.
Sir, I'm not able. Yeah.
Take your time.
So sheet, I'm not able to, like, I'm
Okay.
not able to see.
Okay, you give me steps how to do it. You
So
tell me what to
so
do. You tell me what to do. I'll do it for you.
okay, okay. So
Okay, I'm
basically
deleting
the
everything.
syntax
Now
which is
you. Okay.
okay.
What should I do now?
So basically the
Just
syntax
instruct
of
what I
we,
need to do. Just instruct what I need to
so
do.
equal to
Okay. Okay.
go to cell A3, that will be the lookup value.
Okay.
uh, Now, like, comma, because
Hmm.
we need to select the data array.
But
Data
first we need
array
to
will be,
first we need to write VLOOKUP, right? Because without that the
yes,
formula will
yes,
not work.
yes, yes, yes. We look up cell A3,
A3. Okay. Now.
and now we need to select the data array from VLOOKUP case sheet.
Okay. So what should I do now? Should I press? What should I press? Like you need to instruct me what I need to do. I don't know how to do it.
So
Assume I don't know
comma,
anything. Comma. Okay. Fine. Then
and we need to go to that sheet, VLOOKUP case
how?
worksheet.
How? I don't know how to do that. Instruct.
So I'm not able to see worksheet from,
So it is
like, I cannot
before
see.
the VLOOKUP practice sheet.
So नीचे से मतलब मुझे दिख नहीं रहा है यहाँ पर एक्चुअली, तो आपको वहां पर VLOOKUP शीट पे जाना पड़ेगा, एंड देन यू नीड टू सिलेक्ट दैट डेटा
That
एरे.
VLOOKUP case sheet, the VLOOKUP case spreadsheet is just before the sheet on which we are working.
So control minus control down, I mean control down.
Control down. So I am reaching the sheet next to VLOOKUP practice. Rather, I need to go to the sheet prior to the VLOOKUP practice sheet, the sheet on which we are working.
Control page up,
Page up. Again, page up. Okay. Now,
and then
what
we
to
need
do?
to select column A and B
Column
from the
A
beginning.
and B from the
And B,
beginning.
yeah,
The
yeah.
entire column.
From car. Yes, sir. The entire column, column
Hmm.
A and B.
How to do that? Like, how can I select the
Uh,
entire column?
so you can use keys, shift, control, and arrow keys.
Arrow key, like down arrow.
Shift, shift, control,
Hmm.
shift, right arrow key,
Okay.
shift, right arrow key. Not the
Shift right.
price column, sir. Not the price
Okay,
column.
fine, fine, fine. Understood. Now,
Yeah. Now control down. Holding the shift key. Shift,
okay,
control down.
okay. Now, what to
Yes,
do?
I think you have
I hope it is
selected the
visible.
entire range.
Is it
Yes,
visible to
yes.
you?
I just can't
Okay.
see if you. I can see if you have selected the entire range. But
You are not able to
since
see
we
that?
are, no, sir.
Fine, fine. I have selected the entire column that you told me to select. The both the columns, like the price column and the cars column. Okay. What do I
Okay.
do now?
Comma
Comma.
on the formula tab.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah. And column index number will be 2.
Two. Why two? Why not one or three or
So
five
because
or eight?
we are looking for a quantity. So
Hmm.
quantity is in this VLOOKUP case spreadsheet. Quantity is in column 2. So we will select
Hmm.
column 2.
Okay, fine. Now what to do next?
And now, yes, you, okay, comma,
Comma.
range lookup will be exact match.
So
uh,
what should I
yes,
press?
so you need to
What?
select false. False
False.
exact match.
Okay. Yeah. So it's. Are you able to see the screen here now?
Yes, sir, yes,
It
sir,
shows
now I'm able to
50.
see, but I cannot see, like, I cannot see the entire screen.
Okay. Surprising.
I mean, I
Wait.
can only see up till row 20.
Fine, but you're able to see that we have already applied the formula and we even got the
Yes, sir.
result 50.
Yes.
Now I need to apply it
Okay,
across the
now I
table.
can
Hmm.
see. Okay, now I can see the entire workbook. I mean, now I can see different worksheets from below.
Okay, fine. So I am again, okay, now I'm giving you the virtual access. Please apply this particular formula everywhere to all the cards. Okay, mouse. It must be with you now.
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. Um, so why did you drag it? Like there is another way of doing it properly. Are you aware of that particular way of doing it?
So
You
shift down,
drag,
like I can also copy that formula and I can do shift down key.
then what?
Then also
That
it
shift
will
down key will
drag.
take me to the last column where data is available.
So control. Then first I'll copy the formula using Control
You
C,
copy the
and
formula,
then
then you press
and
shift
then I'll
down, it will
go
take you to
back.
the last
I'll
column.
Yes, and then I'll copy. I'll paste the formula using Control V.
Control V. Okay, fine. Okay, decent proficiency. Moving ahead. So you have also mentioned that you have worked in. So have you actually worked on clients which had India's applicability?
So actually, we had clients who were actually like they were AS compliant, but
Hmm.
on Saturdays in office we used to sit. Like I used to sit with my senior, and we used to like we were a team of 4 5 people. So we used to there were articles, and there were one of our seniors, and he used to on Saturdays we used to sit and we used to brainstorm that if in future our client will become India's compliant, then how are we going to actually
Hmm.
apply India's.
Okay, so it's more of
So
theoretical and
I
academic.
basically have yes. So I basically have knowledge of AS2, but
Hmm.
it's I believe that it's 99% same as India's 2.
Hmm.
And also
Okay.
in case of India's 16, I have knowledge of AS10.
Hmm. Hmm. So since you are also quoting AS, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between AS9 and India's 115? Is there any conceptual difference here between the two?
AS9 revenue recognition and
And
contract
115,
from revenue from
right?
115. So in one under basically there in 115 there are 5 step model. There's a 5 step model in which we also talk about performance obligation, whereas in AS9 I never read this performance obligation. Like I never came across this performance obligation concept. And there were different revenue recognition criteria under AS9, like revenue recognition case of service, which is done by using percentage of completion method in case of advertisement, and there were different revenue recognition criteria. But under India's 115, it basically works on 5 step model, wherein we first need to identify if there is actually a contract, like contract to sell goods and services in the ordinary course of business with the customer. And if there is a contract, then we'll find out different performance obligations in our contract, and we will allocate the transaction price between separate performance obligations. And when that performance obligation is actually satisfied by the entity, then we record revenue.
Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say I am a job worker who is performing some sort of job work for you. Let's say you are a textile dealer who actually sells apparels, not the cloth. You're selling clothes, the stitched clothes, like your shirt, the shirt that you're wearing. You deal with women attire and women clothes. Now, you do not have a tailoring factory with you. You are merely a seller, or you are doing a white labeling kind of a thing where I am doing it for you. You are just putting a label like PC brand, right? Uh, Assume that you have given me an order to stitch 1,000 shirts, and where I'm charging 400 rupees per shirt. I'll stitch the shirt, I'll cut the shirt, stitch the shirt, put buttons, and I'll do the complete finishing of that cloth. And I have to do it in, let's say, 3 months. I'll do it in 3 months, and it entails certain amount of it entails certain checks and balances. For example, you actually see. So once I do it, once I cut the cloth, you first monitor the cutting part, and then you release 20% of the payment, right? Then, once I stitch the shirt, you have a look at the stitching part, whether it has been stitched properly or not, the stitches are proper or not, is it being severed from some place or not. Then you release the remaining 50% of the amount, And then once I put buttons, etc., pack it properly, you release the balance payment. Let's say if you're accounting under Ind AS is 115 and AS9, how would you account for the same as a job worker? Assume I'm a job worker. How would I account for the same in case if AS9 is applicable to me, or in case if Ind AS 115 is applicable to me? Take your time. You must be having a copy pen with you. Just write it down and let me know. Can there be a difference here?
So I think under both we record on the basis of in case of job worker here we will record on the basis of percentage of completion method only, but
Hmm.
that is applied in case of service. So, but I think that whatever cost is incurred by the job worker up till now on the on the contract, whatever cost is incurred and the expected cost to be further expected cost to be incurred, so he will recognize
Okay,
his
let
revenue
me change the
based on.
question. So, for your understanding, let me change the question. The condition is such that I will take the entire amount, in lump sum. I'll take all 400 into 1,000 shirts, whatever is the total, around 4 lakh rupees or whatever it is, 4 lakh, yeah, 4 lakh rupees. I'll take the money upfront. You'll pay me upfront, right? You will still monitor the level of progression, like did I cut the shirt properly, or did I stitch the shirt properly? Did I put buttons properly? Designing, did I do the designing properly or not? And there's a clause that in case if it is not happening, there's a penalty being charged, or I need to refund some amount, right? Now tell me how accounting would be done under two standards.
So, okay, sir. So I think under AS9, it should the job worker should recognize the entire revenue immediately, considering the yes, he should record the entire revenue immediately. And whereas in 115, revenue will be recorded as and when performance obligation is satisfied. So if I'm conducting checks on quarterly basis or step by step, so the
Hmm.
job worker will basically recognize revenue only when that particular PO is satisfied. And
Hmm.
when I've given thumbs up that yes, it is proper, then only he will record revenue, like he will apportion 4 lakh transaction price between separate PO,
Okay, good.
whereas in
Uh,
AS9 I think it
hmm.
should be recorded immediately.
Okay, good. Uh, so what enticed you to go for, graduation from Delhi University? You belong to Ajmer, and what enticed and what encouraged and inspired you to go there? Because generally, you do not find people leaving small cities and going to, metro cities like Delhi to pursue simply graduation, where you are also pursuing your professional qualification.
Okay,
And
so
why did you pursue your
basically
articleship from, why did you pursue your articleship from a big four or a good entity when you were already there in Delhi?
so to answer your second question, I was during my finals preparation, I was in my hometown only basically. I had worked from home from a Jaipur based firm, which is Messrs KG Goel and Company, because it was a lockdown phase. Like there was a second lockdown going on. So
Hmm.
I was actually at my hometown only. So that
Hmm.
answers your second question. And also I had initially, before securing AIR1, I had plans to go for industrial training, but then I was more focused on preparing well for my finals, and I wanted to give my finals before I did not want to stretch it.
Hmm.
So I thought that I should first I should do for training from a firm only for 6 months, which is the mandatory period for us. So I did my training for 6 months, and along with that I was preparing for my finals. So I gave my finals in a time span of 1 year only. And sorry, what was your first question? That why did I pursue my graduation from Delhi University?
Right.
Okay, so sir, actually I've always been an academically bright student, and during my 11th and 12th standard, I actually worked very hard to go out, to pursue my graduation from Mumbai or Delhi. I was actually initially going to Mumbai. I took admission in NM and Jai Hind, basically two colleges of Mumbai University. And my parents also, because I was a good student, so my parents always knew my plans. And initially I had planned of doing economic honors from Delhi University. I actually wanted to pursue economic honors from St. Stephen's College. But later on in my 12th standard, I came to know that you need to have maths in your 12th standard to actually go for economic honors from Delhi University. So yes, it broke my heart when I, because I was exceptionally good in economics. And yes, but I couldn't I couldn't go ahead with that plan. And I had no plan to pursue a professional course while I was going to Delhi. So I moved to Delhi for my graduation because I had pretty good score, which I was able to get into that cutoff list. And my cousins also, my elder brother also, they completed the graduation from Mumbai University. So yes, my
Okay.
parents were always okay with me leaving Ajmer. So there was this was not a barrier for me.
So, as I can see, you have always been a very academically bright student, and even your credentials speak for you that you have been a athlete, you have scored AIL1, you have pursued it from DU, you are even able to clear CMA in first attempt. So, let's say during in corporate life that you are going to, witness in times to come, you face challenges and you face failures where people who are not academically bright are also working with you, and rather they are leading the teams and you are asked to work under them, or because of your credentials they envy you, or uh, I mean they're not very friendly because of this reason, due to some prejudice that they carry in their mind. How will you handle such challenging situation or failures that you face? uh, let's say tomorrow if you face such a problem while working for any corporate where people leading are not of the same credentials and skill set, where people envy your success, where you have to report to someone who is not as good as you, right? Maybe that person is not even a CMA, just a graduate, but since that person has been there in the system for quite a long time, they're leading that particular team. What would be your approach in that case?
So first of all, I feel that this is not a barrier for me, because I believe that I can learn from any person, even that if that person is not, if that person don't have that credential same as mine, but I you can learn from any person, any time in your life. Learning never stops. So for me, at least that won't be a barrier to learn from such person. And now coming to your question, if that person envies me, so what I feel that I'm a people's person. I'm good at networking. I have pretty good networking skills. So it will maybe it will take some time for me to gel well with that person or my superior, but in some short span of time I'll be able to do that. And during my college days also, since I was a part of multiple societies, so we used to have meetings, like college society meetings. So at that point of time also, there were although people were we belong to the same cream, right, in college. But even then there were my batchmates also who had less score than me, like who scored
Hmm.
less than me in their 12th standard, because I was in top 3 cutoff list. So there were people like that. There were people in my college societies also, but eventually we ended up on same page. And even they used to hear to the ideas that I used to give, and my ideas were implemented also. I was also part of sponsorship team, and I was leading that team of 5 people. So I mean, at that point in time also, I was able to work with them efficiently. With
Okay.
people who in college also, in those days also, even if they used to score well than me or they used to score less than me, and I was actually able to help my roommates also. Like they also used to, they were in different college, but we had similar subjects. We had similar course, so I used to actually help them with their academics.
So, I'm asking this from BEL's perspective or Hindalco's perspective, consider anything. Which all companies have shortlisted, which other companies have shortlisted you, Pooja, in campus?
So should I disclose that? I mean, am I allowed
You
to?
have to. If they ask, then you have to.
Okay, so I'm
Don't tell them
shortlisted
all
in
the
Vedant.
companies. You don't tell them all the companies. You can tell them one or two. Let's say if it is BEL, you can tell them I've been shortlisted by ITC Hotels. Don't tell them about Crypco. Don't tell them about Vedanta. Tell them about hotel, ITC Hotels. But apart from this, I'm shortlisted by ITC Hotels. So there's a clear differentiation. Take PSO एक hotel. If you are going to tell them Crypco, they'll say, why not Crypco? That is also a PSU. So play smart.
Crypto is a PSU, sir. I'm not sure.
Yes, it is a PSU.
It is a
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Assume that I'm asking from BL's standpoint, which all companies have shortlisted you.
Sir, apart from BL, I'm shortlisted by ITC hotels. Yes.
You can also tell them about L&T if you want.
So, but LNT we have an assessment tomorrow. So, if I'm
Ah,
shortlisted in that
I'm
assessment,
assuming you will. I'm assuming you will be able to clear this. It is a simple test. You'll be able to clear it easily.
सर हम तो मतलब हमारा तो चेक इन ही 1-2 बजे का है. हम मतलब जो भी जा रहे हैं दिल्ली तो हमने
हाँ,
एयरबीएनबी बुक किया है तो हमारा तो चेक इन ही वहाँ पर 1-2 बजे का है.
अच्छा.
एंड 3-4 बजे तो टेस्ट ही है उनका.
चलो ठीक है. अच्छा 3-4 बजे टेस्ट है क्या आपका? Okay. Nobody
हम्म.
told me this in the morning session because I'm planning a Excel session tomorrow in afternoon. But if the test is in afternoon, then probably I'll take it in evening or maybe I'll not take it. I want to have one session on Excel too because people have no idea about how Excel runs. Okay, nevertheless, we'll speak about this, later. So that's all from my side. Any questions?
No, sir. I just wanted to know that if I'll get a hands-on training while when I join BL.
No, there's no concept of hands-on training here. Uh, you will probably be serving probation period, but you won't get any sort of, training or any formal training. You probably will be learning by doing things. It's on-the-job training kind of a concept, but there's no formal training as such. Any other question?
And will I get an opportunity to work with different departments and different individuals, different teams?
Yes, there will be a role rotation, and that probably will come to know once you get an opportunity to work here.
All right, sir. Thank you. That's
Thank
all.
you. Okay, we'll get back to you.